Hello, and welcome to the weekly career question with me, Emmy Peterson from The Bridge Coaching. Here in this short weekly video, I unpack some of the most common questions that I've had over the years as a career coach. I've been working in this space since 2013, and today's question is a really good one to be aware of, whether you're looking to get a coach right now or not. And the question is, what is the difference between a career coach and a mentor? And how do I know when I need one? Or when do I need which one? And can they work together? Well, we're going to answer all that today. The key thing to remember is they can both really help your career, and sometimes they can work really well together, but I'm going to cover kind of the key differences between them so you can work out what you might be needing right now or what you might need first in your career. So the mentor is someone who has been there or walked the path before you, and they can basically guide you, and hopefully they're willing to share some of their mistakes and learnings throughout their career so you can avoid the same pitfalls perhaps that they did. Now, the key thing to remember is a mentor relationship is based on their experience. It's often unpaid, which means that it's essentially driven by you as the mentee. So it depends a little bit where you work and how mentorship is applied. I know some companies actually have formal mentor programs where when you start or when you go into a particular type of role, you would be matched with a mentor or a sponsor, some people even call it. So it depends a lot on your company. If you don't have a mentor and it's not really something that exists in your organization, you can actually approach people yourself and say, hey, I'm really impressed with the work that you do. I appreciate you're very busy, but I would love if you could spend time with me once a month or once every second month in a bit of a mentor coffee catch up. I would love to get your input on my next steps in my career and how I can be more effective and move forward either in the company or in a particular line of work. So that's essentially what a mentor is, but it's based on their experience, and even though they are professionals, they're not trained in creating career change. It's simply based on their experience and skill, and even if they are very, very skilled, that's essentially the nature of the relationship. And the thing I will say about mentorship as well is because it's unpaid, you have to be really realistic about what you're asking back from them. So if you're asking them to review things, if you're asking them to provide input on things, it's just really important to be respectful that they're doing this most likely out of the goodness of their heart or because it's part of a program in the organization where you both work. So absolutely reach out and ask for a mentor if you are interested in that, but be really clear on some key areas. So before you pick a mentor, it's good to perhaps think about, okay, I really admire this person's communication skills. That's what I would really like to focus on. Or I really admire how this person went from a junior role to a senior manager in a 5-year period. I would really like to do the same, and I'd like to work out how they did that in this particular company. So ask yourself some questions, what you're looking to get out of it, so that you can answer those questions, because your mentor might very well ask you that. Now, if you're feeling really stuck, usually the better option is to go and work with a coach. A coach is there to facilitate an action-focused, structured process of tools so that you can change. And a coach also offers accountability. 99.9% of the time, coaching is a paid arrangement. Early on in my coaching career, I used to do pro bono work. I don't anymore. But some people, when they are starting out in coaching, they are sometimes willing to offer you free coaching sessions in exchange for a testimonial or something like that. I'm a firm believer, though, that coaching should be paid because it is a really strong skill. And what coaching can do for you, if you're really wanting to change quickly, is give you the best practice steps on how to create that change and get out of your own way and draw that line in the sand and improve and move forward. The key thing to know as well is because a coach works with specific tools and methods and structures and step-by-step things, depending on the coach, that will be a little bit different. But remember, they do not need to have experience in your particular field to be a good coach to help you. My personal background is in sales, marketing, and public policy, and that's where I spent most of my life before going into coaching. But I have coached people who are engineers, creatives, business owners. I've coached people in a world of difference. And the cool thing about it is that we've still seen amazing results for them, even if I don't have experience in their particular field. Now, it obviously does help. And that's why I personally am leaning, depending on who I'm working with, because I've worked in non-for-profit environments, I have worked in corporate settings, I've worked in large organizations and small ones. I am able to draw on some of my experience as I tailor the steps in the program depending what my client is going through. The key thing to remember as well, a coach is fully confidential. So much like when you work with a counselor or a psychologist, a coach is a fully confidential environment. So you bring your whole self. The coach is under obligation to keep that information confidential between you and them. And if your coach, if you've worked with a coach or you are about to, and they're not signing a coaching agreement with you outlining that, that confidentiality is honored, I would like you to ask that coach about the coaching agreement and the confidentiality element, because it's something that should be documented in writing before you start working with a coach. So you feel safe to share and bring all of yourself to the coaching environment. And finally, and I thought I'd mention this even though it's not part of this question, is to think about the role that a counselor or a psychologist can play in your life and specifically in your career. So working with a coach or, working with a counselor or a psychologist is usually something you would do if you have specific challenges or a very traumatic event that happened either in your childhood and it's been brought up to the surface again in your adult life, or perhaps something that has happened recently. And that could be work or life related. So it could be things like bullying at work. It could be a tragic loss or death to someone in your family. It could be a range of things. Now, I've personally seen psychologists and counselors over the years and worked through tricky things that have come up for me. We're all only human, and I think that the great combination of the three different personalities or the three different supports available to you on the screen right now, they all serve a purpose for your career going forward. You might not need all three at the same time, but what I do often say to people is if you are interested in working with a coach and you are either on medication for something to do with that your psychologist or your doctor has prescribed to you, or you are currently working with a psychologist or counselor on a particular personal challenge, it's really helpful if you share that with your coach. And not because your coach couldn't work with you at the same time. At times that is appropriate. But if you are processing a lot of difficult things at the moment, if I were your coach, I would probably suggest that we pause the sessions for a little while so you can process and focus on the things that you need to heal or reconcile for yourself. And then we can move into the coaching relationship, because coaching is about taking action, drawing a line in the sand, moving forward, and so forth. And that's where a counsellor can be really helpful for you to process and have that safe space to manage other types of things that are not about taking action or accountability. So that is essentially it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me via the email address on the screen, whether it's around this question or any future questions you'd like me to raise. And if you are not sure if a coach is right for you, I always offer a complimentary conversation with anyone who's interested in working with me as a coach. If you head over to thebridgecoaching.com.au under the Contact Us tab, you can book a complimentary half-hour call with me where we can chat a little bit about your personal circumstances and how I might be able to assist you moving forward. All the best. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in next week's video.